Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Tales of the Valiant CR Exposed. Today we are going to look at something a little bigger this time, and if you've seen the thumbnail then you already know what monster we're looking at. We're going to look at the CR20 Pit Fiend from Tales of the Valiant. So, here's the artwork, and let's just jump right into taking a look at this monster since I don't really have much else to talk about at the moment. So yes, we have ourselves a Devil Pit Fiend, and this is going to be a CR20 monster. So let's zoom in a little bit and get on top of that little tech information here. So we're going to go ahead and throw in a 20 for the CR, and we'll see that we are expecting the proficiency bonus to be a 6, which it already is, an AC of 17 to 20, 395 hit points, 10 to 12 attack bonus, 140 to 157 DPR, and a 17 to 19 DC save check. So with that, we will go ahead and throw in our armor class. Actually, we'll start with the stats here. So we're looking at an 8, then a +8 as well, a +13, which I didn't think you could actually go over +10. Hey, whatever, that's cool. Actually, yeah, I can't go over +10. So that must mean that we have a save here. With the +6, that is probably going to be, what is that, 7? So +7 here. So if we add that in with the proficiency bonus, we have a 13. So there we go, that helps with that. And then we have a +6 again for our intelligence. The wisdom is going to be a +10. And then charisma is going to be a +7. So it looks like that's everything there, although we might have to update some things here depending on whether or not our monster has proficiencies in some of these other areas as well, like maybe the wisdom or even possibly charisma, but from the looks of things, probably not. Anything over a +10 is more than likely a good indication that it has proficiency there. So now that these are in place, we can see that we have an armor class of 19 with natural armor, but our armor class is an 18, so we have to actually give it +1 here to hit that 19 as indicated in the stat block. And then we can move on to the resistances and immunities. So we see that we have immunity to charmed, frightened, so we can go ahead and come on down to here and throw those in, although I don't have a spot for conditions, so we just have to kind of remember that right now. But we do have all this other stuff from Devilish Resilience, so we'll come back to that in a moment and update as we need, or as we see fit here. So right off the bat, we have Aura of the Devil Lord. Each hostile creature that starts its turn within 20 feet of the Pit Fiend must succeed on a save or be frightened until the start of the next turn. Each friendly devil that within the 20 feet of the Pit Fiend is immune to the charmed and frightened conditions and has advantage on its first attack roll and it makes on each turn. So there's nothing that I remember or recall here potentially that talks about fear. So this may be something that we don't necessarily have to worry about unless it's a condition. Let's see here. We do have attacks with conditions, but we have also the multi-attack and on-hit effects. Technically, this isn't an on-hit effect, but it does give everything else advantage on the attack. So technically, any creatures would get a Pack Tactics bonus to their DPR, which would add 3% to whatever they're doing for damage. But beyond that, let's see here. Frightened. Yeah, I don't see anything that could be an indication of frightened here. We have the Undead Fortitude. Creatures creature is resistant or immune to 3 or more items. Creature can regain hit points. Undead Fortitude, like I said before. The creature, let's see here, CR 19 or lower, so we don't have to worry about those. CR 13 or higher with regeneration or a similar trait. Oh, the creature can regain hit points as a bonus action, so that's something completely different. Or it can regain hit points as part of its standard attacks. So there's hit point gains from that, so that's something to remember there. For every 2 damage types to which the creature is resistant or immune, we will get that in a minute. And we have below CR 8, which we don't have to worry about there. Creature can conjure, create, or summon other monsters, which is much different than the 5e version, which technically just increases the encounter difficulty. That also has an effect there too, but because of this, we will be subtracting 10 hit points. Flyby, evasion, or parry, damage transfer, limited magic immunity, and then my experimental feature for attack bonuses that are higher or lower. So it looks like we don't really have anything to worry about here for this one. So let's just move on to Devilish Resistance, and if we have to, we'll come back to this later on. So for the Resilience, the Devil is resistant to cold damage and to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing. So we have bludgeoning, piercing, slashing, cold damage, and then we have, in addition, is immune to fire damage, which technically would give us the 3 since we have to blend both resistances and immunities. And I don't know why this is false. I don't know why it's false. Hold on. Okay, I know what happened there. I haven't updated my tool properly. Some stuff got pushed down, and the reset tool is now resetting these items here, which also includes the top here. So I have a little bit of code to fix there. And it looks like something got messed up here as well. So I can't use my reset tool for a little bit at the moment. So let's go ahead and fix that real quick and throw in the checkbox to fix that. There we go. Okay, now everything should be good to go again. So Devilish Resilience, we have fire damage and poison damage as well. So we definitely have that as to take into consideration. So we know here that for every 2 types of damage to which we are, let's see here, resistant or immune, we get that bonus here. So we'll go ahead and check that. Well, not bonus, this negative. So we are getting a -8 hit point adjustment for the Devilish Resilience. Although technically we might need it to be 2. I'll have to double check some things here. So this is actually a good way to bug check my tool to see if it's lining up with the Pit Fiend at the moment. So then we also next have Flaming Weapons, which are included in the attacks. We don't have to worry about that. We do have Magic Resistance, so we will go ahead and click that there to add that in, and that's it for all of the traits. Next we will move on to the attacks here. And the Pit Fiend can, let's see here, for the multi-attack, can make 1 bite attack, 1 gore attack, 1 mace attack, and 1 tail attack. So we're getting everything for it to make, or it makes 4 hurl flame attacks. If 2 hurl flame attacks hit 1 creature, each creature within 10 feet of the target must save on a dex save as the fire bursts outwards from the target, taking 14 damage on a failed save or half as much on a success. Oh, that's an interesting little combination here. So this is a 10-foot range modifier here. So first of all, let's go ahead and throw in our attacks. And ironically enough, I don't have enough room because I was not expecting a monster to have 5 attacks. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at our first one here, Bite, and we'll make adjustments as needed. So the Bite is going to be 14 to hit, and that is what we have for our attack bonus, which is great to see, so we don't have to worry about adjusting for there. We do have a 4d6 plus 8 piercing, so we will update here. D6 with strength bonus, which will give us a 22 average damage, which is correct there. And then we have 14 or 4d6 fire damage for 14. And then the target must succeed on a con save or be poisoned. So we also have to worry about the poison damage here. So we have another... wow, man, this Bite has got a load of stuff. So many riders. Wild. Just for 1 attack. Okay, so this is a good thing we're doing this here. We're going to go ahead and add in all of this. Nope, we got to do this and that and that. And then we also have... Oops, let's get rid of... come on, there we go. Let's get rid of that last one. And then we will throw in a single condition modifier because of the poison. The poison is giving it an extra 1.5 damage, which, you know, it's kind of funny to see that, but, you know, whatever. I think it's like a bonus of 3% difference or something. And increases us by 1.5 DPR to 51. Then we have the gore attack, which is going to be piercing and fire damage. So I'm just going to go ahead and add this in normally for 17 plus 14. Actually, I can just say this up here. Attack number 3 is going to be 15 plus 14. So 15 plus 14 for a total of 29. The tail attack is going to be, let's see here, 24.5 plus it's 14 damage from the fire. And then we also have a condition on this. So the condition is going to bump it up by another 1.5 as well. So those are our main attacks. Then we have our last attack of Hurl Flame, plus the little burst damage as well. So let's go ahead and throw this in here. So for the Hurl Flame, we're going to be dealing 25 or 66 plus 4 fire damage. And the plus 4 is coming from what? Probably, it looks like Wisdom. So actually our Wisdom is more than likely going to be a 4. And then we add in that modifier to bring us up to 10. And then we will add in the 4 here from Wisdom to bring us up to 25. Curious. Okay. Yeah, nothing else really seems to make sense because we have that +6 bonus. So yes, definitely we have 2 proficiencies here. And then lastly, we have that burst attack if both of the Hurl Flames succeed, which in theory they will, because that's how we build out our monsters. We then go ahead and add in the 4d6 as well. And again, that's going to be another 14, but then that's a save and it's a burst. So we're going to say, let's see here, our multi-target attack is going to be the 14. And then we were going to give it short range, so it's going to be about 21 points of damage if it hits. So we have 2 different types of multi-attacks here. Let's just review again. We can do the 4 main attacks here, or let's see here. Yep, those attacks, or 4 Hurl Flames. And we need at least 2 to hit. Okay. So in theory, technically, we could have, if every attack is supposed to hit, we should see this twice, actually, in theory. So we will go ahead and say 51 plus 31 plus 29 plus 40 for 151 points of damage for our first multi-attack series, or we will say 25 times 4 plus, and actually let's put this in parentheses just to make sure this comes up correctly, plus we'll say 21 times, not divide, by 2 for a total of 142 points of damage. And with a plus 10 to hit, we're actually better off using our first multi-attack and not worrying about the Hurl Flame. We only use the Hurl Flame if we're out of range or we need to escape for some reason. So our Pit Fiend is definitely much better off being on the front line, but the expected DPR here for our Pit Fiend falls within the range, the proper range. It's just that we are losing effectiveness by having a lower attack bonus here. Oh, actually, it looks like our attack bonus is much higher. So actually our Hurl Flame, I stand corrected. Hurl Flame with the DPR is proper. Because of the attack bonus here, we are way too high on our attack bonus. So we are +2 over. And we'll see that in a minute to see how that adjusts. But first we want to try and line up to see what we get here. So right off the bat in our concentration, since we would be doing all 4 attacks every round of combat, let's just see what this looks like here. And I don't think we had anything else that grappled or did any other modifications. So let's see here. Do we have anything we need to add in? These are all negatives. This technically is a positive, but I want to hold off on that for just a minute while I review everything. And then these are negatives as well, so we're not going to add those in. Let's see. We don't have Undead Fortitude, Legendary Resistances. We don't have those. The creature is resistant or immune to 3 or more conditions. How many conditions did we have? We had Charmed and Frightened. Those are 2 conditions, as well as the Poison. So that's another 1. So we do have 3 or more conditions here for the creature. The creature isn't regaining hit points. The creature only has 1 type of damage to which it is resistant or immune, so we don't have to worry about that. This one is confusing. Why do we have this one here, but also the same thing that one didn't make any sense to me. Doesn't regenerate, which technically is also, well, not necessarily also the same. For 2 types, the creature is resistant or immune. We got those. The creature can conjure, no. Flyby, no. Evasion, no. Parry, a bonus action, legendary action, or similar effect that paralyzes, petrifies, or stuns. No, we don't. We don't have those. At least I don't remember. No damage transfer. So I think everything here is good for the time being. So let's take a look at our hit points. And our adjusted hit points should be 323. We have 323. So this looks good right off the bat. But our attack bonus is technically 2 higher. Now, as I stated before in a post here or there, technically Tales of the Valiant says this is okay. This is perfectly fine to be off by a little bit when it comes to attack bonuses, because the spell save DC should be what you really want it to be at, and the expected DC should be a 21. That's not a, all right. So the spell save DC technically is over 2. So this is a little off, which makes me wonder what needs to be adjusted here technically. But if we use this here, let's see what happens if we change this just a little bit and make the hit point adjustments. So in theory, if we use this experimental feature, then our Pit Fiend should drop from 323 hit points to 284, just for the overage of the expected DC. Excuse me, actually the expected attack bonus for those attacks. And to compare the spell DC, which also technically falls into anything else that requires a DC, so for instance the bite attack with the con save of DC 21, this is also 2 points over the expected high point. So in theory, we should take into consideration the attack bonus overage, because this can also apply to the DC. So technically the Pit Fiend should have 284 hit points, but they suggest edge cases where some monsters are allowed to have slightly higher attack bonus or DC. I think this is a fair trade-off with the slightly adjusted hit points, because this dude's going to be hitting like a truck against your characters with this higher attack bonus rating here. But your rolls may vary. But anyways, this has been the D&D CR Exposed channel, exposing Tales of the Valiant CRs today and looking at the CR20 Pit Fiend. So pretty much everything lines up. It's just that little bit of extra hit points there. Maybe a 284 is appropriate. Thank you so much for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, comment what you might want to see from Tales of the Valiant's Monster Vault, and subscribe if you haven't already. This has been a lot of fun. All right, guys, I will see you next time.